for Marshfield Community Television. This is the Ram Report, semi-annual, semi-weekly program highlighting Marshfield athletics. We had a wonderful introductory show with the football team, and not to be outdone, we've brought in the Hoopsters today. We've got the boys varsity team here from Marshfield High, led by their legendary South Shore coach, Bob Fisher. Thanks for coming in, Bob.
Thanks, David.
I'm going to let you introduce your players, and if you do so by providing a little bit of background, a little scouting, I'll let you take it.
Will do. To my left is Evan Milrick. Evan is a 3-year starter at Marshfield. He started in the youth programs at Marshfield, went to freshman year at Catholic Memorial, came back to his hometown, thank God, fortunately, and has been a 3-year stalwart for our team, and he's as good a point guard, as, in my opinion, as there is in the area. And he's a more or less a pass first, shoot second, and sometimes I wish it was the other way around because I think he's a good shooter. But Evan is a spark plug. He's the engine that makes our team go. Right. Next to him is Aiden Walden, one of the two Walden twins, Connor next to him. Aiden is a second-year player on the varsity. He's had some preseason injury with his heel, just getting back into the rhythm of things. Tremendous leader, tremendous vocalness, communicator, energetic, enthusiastic, supplies an awful lot of energy during practice, even last year from the bench point of view, and an integral part of our team in terms of how he relates to kids on the team. Does a phenomenal job in firing them up and keeping them going. His brother, Connor, is next to him. Connor had a nice opening win at Quincy with 17 points and 8 rebounds. I think the rebound chart cheated him a few. It probably was like double figures. He'll probably tell you he had 22 rebounds, but it wasn't that high. But Connor's been with us 2 years. He started some of the games last year for us down the stretch when we had some injuries, and he's got good experience, and I just feel he's going to be one of the better, bigger men in the area. He's had to make an adjustment. He likes his three-point shot, but we need him inside. Yeah. And he found out the other night that he can score inside and he'll get the ball inside. So he's been very, very effective. 3 great leaders, 3 great kids that I have.
That's great, and we thank you all for being here today. Bob, you've been doing this a long time, and we won't say how long. I'll leave that to you. But since you started coaching, what do you think are the biggest changes you've seen over those years, and what are the constants?
Well, things change because society changes. You know, I can remember we had lost a game at Nauset years ago, and I was kind of upset. I wouldn't say kind of, I was very upset. And I get on the bus and all the phones are on, and it's like we just lost the game, but they're more interested in getting back on their phones. So I collected all the phones, put them in a bag, and didn't pass them out to the kids until they got back to Marshfield. The changes is technology has changed, kids have changed, but what hasn't changed is the way they work. What hasn't changed is how passionate they are about what they do. What hasn't changed is the intensity that they give you. Society has dictated a lot of the changes with technology in terms of phones, iPads, etc. like that. So I've had to make a lot of adjustments to adjust to them. Can you coach the same way? Yeah, you can, but it's now, I think you have to be more positive than negative. Mm-hmm. That's the way kids have grown up. But I don't foresee that many changes. Defensively, we're still doing the same things. Offensively, the same things. Mm-hmm. And the kids in their 2.5 hours of practice are the same no matter what. Sometimes, you know, losses don't, they don't feel the losses or the pain as much as other groups have, but they still feel them. Mm-hmm. And what I've noticed, the biggest change is in terms of the coaching all these years is that the academics is taken a lot more seriously. And that's a great positive sign. Right. I go back and it was a part of it, but sometimes I thought the kids coaching back in my Rockland and Quincy days that basketball was everything and academics was, well, we'll push that back there, you know. But that's what I like about them because they take so much pride in the classroom, and if that happens, it'll carry on to the court.
Well stated. Coming right back at you, You've had a lot of success coaching, been to the tournament umpteen times.
Yeah.
If a Bob Fisher team is operating at its highest level, what does that look like on the floor on both sides?
Well, I would hope it was in tenacious defense. The kids will tell you that we've spent an inordinate amount of time trying to get something to hang our hats on, I should say. Defensively, transition running, pressure defense, pressure offense, kids, and we did a little bit of it yesterday. Kids like a little freedom in what they do out there.
Yeah.
You have to have some structure on plays. You have to, and when you put the plays in at the beginning of the year, they scratch your head. Oh, here we go. But kids succeed in kind of structured, non-structured offenses where they can create on their own and see. I was telling Evan on the way down, we're going to have a lot of pressure tomorrow, and I can give you 5 or 6 offenses, but we've just got to find the open areas, and you've got to find the open areas to attack.
Right.
So I think we're not as mechanical or as structured as other teams. We have a little bit more freedom, but defensive is the main. Is certainly. They'll find out that today too as well. Defense is certainly the thing that drives the engine for us, my teams, and it has been over these years. It's always been defense.
So you got a glimpse the other night. You had your first game on Tuesday night. What do you see based on all of that? You know what you want to do. What do you see? What do you think for the season when you look ahead?
I think we can be outstanding defensively. I really do. He's the engine that leads the defense from the front. Connor and Ada are in the back. Connor has been much more vocal in his defense and communicative this year, and we got some kids that can get after it defensively, and we could be very, very tough defensively. We have to watch our fouling. We have some issues when it comes to defensive rebounding, but it was much better the other day. I just think the kids like it. They believe in it. We get some good depth if we need to go to our bench defensively, and we spent so much time on it that I think that's going to be our cornerstone this year is our defense. And that will lead us to our offense with transition points and steals and turnovers and what have you, I think. And the kids like to run, and they like to get after it. They don't like to be held back. They like to attack. And the one thing is, sometimes there's turnovers. You've got to be very cognizant that you don't turn the ball over as much. And the other night we had more assists than turnovers, which was a plus. Mm-hmm. But our turnovers I thought were still too high. I thought we had 13, and a lot of them were unforced. And so we have to do a better job of value in protecting the ball as time goes on, or everything we've said will go out the window.
All right. Evan, I'm going to turn to you, if you don't mind.
Yep.
So you played your first game the other night.
Yeah.
Does it feel like a different year for you? Two things, given what we went through last season, a little bit different, even in the stands.
Yeah.
And just in terms of, you're in a different role this year, right? You're replacing a couple of real experienced players at guard. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about what it feels like after one whole game?
Yeah, it's been great to get back on the court. Obviously with fans last year, we didn't have fans. The mask thing's still there, but it's always great to get on the court.
Yep.
And then I think this year it's just been different being that leader guy, controlling all the guys with these two. But it's been great.
Yep. Yeah. And do you feel like that's an adjustment for you, that leadership role, or have you just been waiting to take it over?
I think more of waiting. I think at my first year at CM, I had great captains, and I've learned from all of them, even the guys in Marshfield too, from the past 2-3 years. So I think it's more of a waiting thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in and talk about leadership.
Aiden, you're off the hook.
No, they've all done a great job. We were up 3 at halftime at Quincy, and you walk up the stairs to the locker room,
sure,
which we didn't have last year, and we went to the locker room, and I'm walking in with one of my coaches, and they're in the locker room, and there's a big whiteboard there, and Evan's up there diagramming and talking with Connor in terms of what we have to do in the second half, and they were making adjustments, kids making adjustments, tremendous leadership. They were taking ownership of their own program. And they did a great job, and I let them continue because they're playing the game. I'm seeing it from a different perspective. But what they were saying was so constructive that I didn't have to say much. And I said to my assistant coach walking out, I said, we ain't going to lose this game. The kids just took ownership of the game.
That's great.
And made that adjustment. That's his leadership. And it came from these 3 kids. And that was so refreshing to see that night. And that told me about, I think, what's going to happen to this group this season.
Aiden, does it feel different for you this year? You know, kind of piggybacking on the question, Evan, does it feel any different to you, or is it just still the game?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot different than last year. I feel like this year has definitely proven how there's been more changes in how we're playing and like what we're doing. I think especially the energy, I just feel like it's a lot different this year, especially with more people being involved outside of the team, right? We can have fans in the building and like we can do more things. We can go in the locker room. We can be together as a team a lot more. I feel like that's just building on our team chemistry, and we're getting closer than we could get last year. And I feel like that's making this season, it's gonna make it a lot better than last year. I feel like we're gonna improve, and we're gonna just go out there and have fun.
That's great. Connor, you play with your brother. You're around your brother a lot. What's it like to play with your twin brother?
You know, I think it's just really fun. We've been playing together for a long time, probably since 4th grade.
You tell me.
I think I went to the right guy.
Yeah, and you know, it's nice. Now we're on the varsity level, big stage, and you know, it's great to be able to play with my brother. It's a good opportunity. Maybe the last year, going to be able to do it in a competitive game, and you know, just appreciate the opportunity to do it. You know, just have a fun time out there.
That's great. Evan, tell me about another player on your roster who's not present right now. Who should we be watching for tomorrow night against Duxbury and beyond?
I think Matt Habel, the other guard position, just tenacious defender, great with the ball, knock down the 3-pointer when he needs it, when we need it. Likes to attack the hoop a lot, and he's just a great all-around player.
Great.
They play very well together, the 2 of them. They complement each other. They cover for each other. If he loses his man, Habel's there to pick him up, and vice versa. They're almost like brothers of one another. Brothers that don't fight, and they're just so. When Habel picked up his 3rd foul the other night, and early in the first half, we made substitutions, but I thought he was stronger defensively when Habel was in there, and at halftime his man had X amount of points, and we said to him, you got to shut this kid down. He's got 12 points. But when you look at the film, 6 to 8 of them came while Habel was on the bench.
Right.
Then when Habel comes back in the second half, he shuts the kid down completely. So they complement one another. And, you know, sometimes I don't tell them enough, but when I watch the film, I see it. I said, Jesus, those 2 got to play together more because he's always there to back them up.
We'll go to the big men behind you 2. Who should we be watching for?
I think Jonathan Bain, a junior. I think I see a lot out of him. I think I've seen a lot of improvement over just the last year of him playing. He didn't get to play last year, and so this year he's kind of getting back into it. And I think he's one of the guys that has improved the most over the last, I would say, like 3-4 months. He's learned so much. He's learned to use his advantages as his size. He's just. He gets out there and he gets after it, and I love that. He's one of the best. He's definitely, I would say, one of the best, but I'd like to vouch for him being the best rebounder on our squad. He just loves to get after it on the boards. He's always at the rim getting rebounds, and I think that's part of the reason why he's one of the guys to look out for. I think he's just gonna surprise a lot of people this season.
That's great.
Put himself on the map.
And Connor, putting some pressure on you. We're getting, deeper into the roster. Do you have somebody we should be looking for?
Yeah, I want to talk about junior guard forward James Leach. You know, I think him over the last year, it's his first year on varsity. He started opening night, and he works really hard. He's a very good defender, and I think he's also very talented on offense. You know, and he comes in, he works hard, and he's one of the leaders of the team as a junior. I think. Comes in every practice with good energy, good attitude, and I think he's going to have himself a really good year this year.
That's great.
he's good. And another kid that I'm sure they would mention too is this kid Ryan Tracy, who's like, they don't remember the days of Havlicek, but he's like, to me, he's a Havlicek. He never stops. He never stops. Just never ever stops. He doesn't do anything great, but he does everything well.
Yeah.
He's a good soccer player. He's steady. He hit a couple of big threes in the second half at Quincy. Came up with a couple of key rebounds, et cetera, like that. And once again, an outstanding defender. And he may take Duxbury's second best player or best shooter tomorrow night. So
You can't. You don't want to tell Duxbury that, though.
it is what it is. You're probably right, but I have so much faith in these kids defensively that
Sure.
I think they can get the job done.
Yeah, that's great. And Ryan is a really good soccer player.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Played
and
a really quiet game, but really effective. Fun to watch.
I love him out there. He's just perpetual. He never stops, and very taciturn, quiet type kid. And just a good athlete, and just when he's out there, good things happen.
Well said. So, I know last year was a little bit different because of the just parents and families in the stands, which can be enough, but it lacks something, right? That energy. So, Connor, I'm going to come to you first, just to mix it up a little bit. What's the one gym, whether in the Patriot League or otherwise, that you look forward to going in this year?
Well, I'd have to say I really like going into Hingham. I think their fans bring in energy, and I think it's just they bring it. I remember from sophomore year, freshman year, just being there looked like just watching the games. They bring a good energy to the game. And when an opposing team brings energy, and their student section is loud, you just have to be at the top of your game. You need to be able to communicate with your own players, and it's fun to be able to play like that.
Abe?
I would say not necessarily over experience. I'm most looking forward to going into, if we do, I don't know if we do, I'm looking forward to going to Plymouth South. I don't know if we go into there this year, but
No, we don't. But
we
go ahead.
don't. If we could, I feel
Now
like,
you can say anything you
oh
want.
yeah.
You're not even
If we
going.
could, I would have loved to get back in there because they knocked us out last year, and I just feel like I love getting revenge. I feel like that's kind of, especially on the basketball court, right?
I love
Just want to get after them. I feel like they knocked out us out of the last year, and I feel like we were a very solid team. We didn't really come in and play our best game. I feel like I just want to prove it to them. So when they come into our gym, I just feel like we got to show them something.
Right.
Well said.
Evan?
This year, I'm going to say playing at the Garden against Scituate is probably going to be the most exciting. We always battle against Scituate, always, all the sports, Patriot League rival, and the Garden. Who wouldn't want to play in the Garden?
Right.
Historical place.
Have you played there before?
No.
All right, that's going
So
to
it'll
be a
be fun.
treat.
Yeah.
Very good. What about you? Where do you like to go? What's the environment
He
you
said
love
that.
to walk
Well,
into?
I've been the Garden. Fortunately, been there a number of times as a coach with great teams and so forth like that. And so I'm looking forward to the Garden, and just hoping the kids they play their games and all. And
Sure.
I can remember going there the first time. I'll tell you, with one of my teams, we had a very good team, and we had the Celtic locker room, and we were playing a team in Division II. It was Weston. They were undefeated. We were 22-1. They were 23-0. And the aura of going to the Celtics locker room was just, they were, oh my God, this is such and such. This is, oh my God, we get this. By the time we went on the floor, we were down 12 points because it was the aura of going into the Garden. They forgot it was a business trip and not a social trip.
Yeah.
So and something, and I'm going to give you the answer that you probably don't want to hear. I like going in every gym because it's a competitive nature. It's the idea that they're home. We can take something away from them that they really want to do because they think they can win at home. Not that we can beat them, but so I love going into an opposing gym with the idea. I'd love to go into a Duke and beat a Duke at Duke with the Rowdies and so forth like that. But so I look forward to going to every gym, and I have to keep it on an even keel because if I looked at one gym, I'd get psyched for that gym and not psyched for this gym. So realistically, you give me the gym wherever we're going to go, and I'll say, let's go. Let's take it away from them.
Good enough. Aiden, who's the player you model yourself after, if there is a player that you model yourself after? Well, who do you admire?
I think growing up, I didn't really have someone, but like over the recent years, I've kind of developed my game after a little Tim Duncan style, right? Because I'm not necessarily the most athletic player out there, right? But you see what he does on the low block and in the post. He's just very, 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 very fundamentally sound player. And I feel like that's kind of like what I have to model in order to be the most successful as a basketball player. I feel like that's definitely someone that I look up to and someone that I watch highlights of and try and replicate.
That's a real good choice.
Isn't
The
it?
big fundamental, I believe, is what he was called, right? Connor?
Well, I don't play exactly like him, I wouldn't say. I did look up to Steph Curry, you know, when he started really like innovating the game, and you know, I looked at that and I said, like, I want to be able to shoot like that, and I guess it's part of my game. As a big, I'm able to shoot, and I always wanted to be able to, and I think it's a good strength to have, to be versatile, to be a big and also be able to shoot, and I think it's an important part of my game.
Yeah.
But also needing to be able to play inside, play big is also important.
Right. Good week to pick Steph Curry, right?
Yeah.
Evan?
I'd probably say Russell Westbrook, just the way he stuffs the stat sheet,
Yeah.
scoring, rebounding, passing the ball, and then defending. Just does everything all around pretty well. And I think that's the biggest thing that I admire about him.
All right. Coach?
In terms of a coach, there's been a lot. It goes back to John Wooden,
Yeah.
you know, Tom Izzo, you know, guys like that have influenced me. Krzyzewski. In fact, I've worked Krzyzewski's camp in the past. And when he was at West Point, I worked for 2 years. His camp learned an awful lot about him when he was back there. You know, Bob Knight made an appearance, and he was I was never a big Knight fan.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a great coach, but I was more Krzyzewski, Izzo, and you know, and of course, growing up with Wooden with all the successes that he had was just. I mean, I must have 7 or 8 John Wooden's books, and he was never got ruffled. He was always was able to maintain that demeanor. You don't see that as much anymore, but he had that great philosophy, the pyramid of success.
Yeah.
And I still have that in my man cave downstairs, the pyramid of success, all the blocks, etc., like that. And you always refer to it. So I would say over the years, probably Wooden would be the number one.
That's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
You're not going to go wrong there.
Yeah.
Last question, thankfully for you guys. You've been here for 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 years for you guys. Lunchtime. What's the go-to lunch? Connor, I'm going to you first.
Ooh, cafeteria we're talking?
Yeah, let's go calf.
I'd say, you know, the big fan favorite is definitely the chicken sandwich, you know, especially over recent years. I think it's the consistent go-to.
All right.
You know.
Aiden?
You gotta go with the classic, right? It's a little plain cheese pizza they provide here. You know, it's gotten better.
Solid pizza
Gotten
here?
better over the years. You know,
Yeah.
it's always improving. You know, they're always finding a way to innovate the game, especially the pizza.
Evan?
I gotta go with the classic peanut butter and fluff.
That's my baby.
You're a local. You're a local.
That was mine when I was in high school,
Yeah.
too. That was
Yeah.
mine. Peanut butter.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious, yeah. That's great,
Are you going to match that?
yeah.
What do you
That
have?
was-
What do you have for
that-
lunch?
that was
what
my-
do you have
that-
for lunch today?
Ironically, I had a late breakfast at the Mug in Marshfield, so I haven't had lunch. But my favorite, I love peanut butter and fluff or peanut butter and jelly. I grew up with that. Oh, that was my go-to thing. Even before a game, I used to have a half a peanut butter sandwich, and that's what I used to eat before a game. And so that was my go-to meal. Now it's my go-to meal. Of course, I like to go out for pizza or what have you, etc. like that. But I crave peanut butter.
Coach, coming back to you just for one more question, or just getting a comment from you. You've been in the Marshfield program for a number of years now. What can you say about this community and the support it provides for the program, and what your experience has been here?
You can never say enough. That's number one. You never the support. You know, through this whole process in terms of parental support, kid support. You know, I've been blessed. You know, you hear all these accusations that parents run coaches. I've rarely faced any situations where I can say what's going on or anything like that. So the parents are great, but it still starts with the kids. It really does. The kids are genuine. They work hard. They're athletic. They're intent. They're passionate. They're committed. They sacrifice themselves. And so the kids, I think, they're talking about having kids in the gym tomorrow night for the first time at home, and we have stands down by the end of our court. And there are times in those stands you didn't see it last year. I think last year was your first year, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully those stands get filled up with freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. And I can remember even when we had tournament games, hockey players, football players, they would all be packed out with whiteouts and blackouts and so forth like that. So, but the support within the community, the support that you get from the local youth basketball groups, in my situation, the YBAs, the youth basketball. We have a nice hardwood club in Marshfield that does an awful lot of things for the kids, for banquets and awards, etc., like that. And so they're all together. And you know, when we put our hands together years ago, I tell my kids, you got to say defense, defense. Now it's become, they say together. And I think what makes this community so great is the togetherness of all the people. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
We're all together. You know, we need to pick up one another. We need to support one another, etc., like that. I would even hope that the kids, we're going to get them out at 6 o'clock. I think there's a Christmas concert tonight. Is a Christmas concert tonight?
I think so, yeah.
And you know, I'm going to encourage them to attend a Christmas concert. They can't go tomorrow night. I don't know if there's one tomorrow night, or they can go Saturday night if there's one Saturday night. But I think supporting other groups is essential. And I think that brings out the best in everybody when you're together as one, because these memories are right here now, and then as years go by, oh yeah, remember that day, remember that teacher, remember that class, remember that basketball game, remember that football game. This is the best time of their lives.
Right.
This is the best time of their lives.
Right.
It doesn't get better. The wall this may be their last year playing together. This may be Evan's last year playing with this group of kids. I read the kids' texts that I get all the time. I wish I was a senior again. I wish I was in that locker room again. I wish I was on that court practicing again. That's what they're going to go through.
Right.
So enjoy the ride. I told the kids the other day, we're on the Polar Express. We're going to the North Pole. Let's go, baby.
So the ride.
Because you believe. You got to believe.
Yeah.
You know. And so yeah.
Well, the ride has started. You're off to a good start. You're 1-0. Connor, good luck this season.
Thank you.
And Aiden, good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your mom and your dog, who I have the pleasure of seeing on the streets of Marshfield occasionally. And Evan, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming in today. Good luck in the season ahead. Coach, it's a pleasure. You're
Thanks,
a good
Dave.
man.
I appreciate that. Speaking of the Waldens, one I was saying, their mother's was a heck of a player at St. Michael's years and years ago. I don't want to tell her how many years, etc. like that. She'll be all over me. But
Shout out,
she
Mom.
was, yeah, that's your mom. She was a heck of a player and quite an athlete in her time too.
Well, thank you, Coach
Yeah.
Fisher. We
Yeah.
appreciate you guys
Thank you,
being in
Dave.
here. Best of luck
Thank
this
you.
season ahead. We'll see you tomorrow night. I'll give you a wave.
Yeah. Go Rams.
That's right. Thank you for tuning in to the Ram Report. David Snow signing off. We'll be back next week, likely, with the girls basketball program, followed by the hockey boys and girls programs, and we'll roll. And hopefully you guys will come back and see us maybe mid-season. We can see where we are at.
Be great.
Be fully healed, you know, dominating out there. Thanks for joining us. MCTV, happy to have you here. Have a great weekend.